Howdy, folks. It's the Creepy Kentuckian here with you from DEADPIT.com. Today, we're taking a look at one that I've been looking forward to for a while. Our good friends over at Second Sight Films has had an amazing 2023 so far. It's only going to get better. If you go back and look at some of the past reviews on the show, you know, stuff like Texas Chainsaw, Picnic at Hanging Rock, The Hitcher is coming as well. The Hitcher is coming. The Hitcher is coming. Martin, the George Romero movie Martin, finally came out again after nearly a 20-year hiatus on home video. And this one has had a couple of releases over the years, but this is the coup de grace. This is the ultimate edition. I'm going to say it's a limited edition from Second Sight Films, the Peter Medak classic. He is a master of horror. The Changeling. And this is one of those movies, guys, that I fell in love with in that legendary box of laser discs back probably 25 years ago that I got from eBay. And I went through them one by one each night for probably a couple of weeks. That's how many laser discs there were. The Laserdisc release of The Changeling was one of those. And, you know, it definitely rejuvenated my interest in the horror genre. And this movie, man, I thought for many years it's underrated for sure, and I still do in a way. But it's awesome that Second Sight Films did this limited edition 3-disc 4K Blu-ray combo with the soundtrack, boys. With the soundtrack. Just a excellent limited edition release, which we're going to take a look at the release itself. We're going to talk a little bit about the movie and let you guys know, is this or is this not the best home video release of The Changeling of all time? Spoiler alert, it is. Now, another thing to let you guys know, this movie is from 1980, and it was not a gigantic success when it came out. Over the years, via word of mouth and hardcore horror fans just kind of spreading the creamy horror goodness, word has gotten out a little bit more about The Changeling. George C. Scott does a fantastic job in this movie. We're going to talk a little bit about the movie. If you have not seen this movie yet, though, this is, before I even get into the movie, high recommendation for you guys. This is, you know, back in the day when there were grown-up horror movies. Best way to quickly describe The Changeling. But let's get into the movie, guys. In The Changeling, George C. Scott plays John Russell, who is a professor/composer who recently lost his wife and daughter tragically in an accident. He accepts a new teaching job and relocates to Seattle and is quickly on the hunt for the perfect, quaint abode for him to reside, and settles on this gigantic mansion that hasn't been lived in many, many years. And we find out for good reason. Soon he does notice some bizarre occurrences that cannot be explained through the house. After an evening of investigating the house, John finds a secret room boarded up and left untouched for 70 years. And that leads to clues on what lurks within the haunted walls of the mansion. And you know it's never good when they have a seance, right? And try to communicate with the spirits. They find out more and more about what went on in the house, who was there in the house in the early 1900s. And ultimately disclose a horrible secret that has implications politically in the area. The Changeling is an all-time classic horror film, I think. It's one of George C. Scott's best performances as well, which I think he's an excellent actor. You know, later in the genre would do Exorcist 3 and Patton and stuff like that. So he does a fantastic portrayal of the composer John Russell in the movie. This one's kind of an odd one though, guys, because most of the story is divulged within the first half of the movie, and then with the second half of the movie, it's John Russell who is trying to figure out, what am I going to do here? how should I confront this and make this situation known or whatever. But this is definitely slow build. I don't think everybody will love The Changeling. For those that are curious, though, if you're a fan of a movie like The Shining, I think The Changeling is right along the same lines of this as well. It's very well shot and put together and everything, and I absolutely love this movie. The reason most of you guys are looking at this review is for this 3-disc limited edition from Second Sight Films, which is fantastic. This movie had a couple of separate releases here in the United States from Severin Films, which were fine. They were fantastic. But if you're wanting a little bit more, better video quality, better extras, better, packaging materials and everything, this is it. This is the one that you want. Second Sight Films always does a bang-up job in everything that they do. I can't put them over enough. This thing is absolutely loaded with special features. This is a brand new 4K scan of the movie. There's audio commentaries with the director and the producer, a new interview with director Peter Medak and filmmaker Adrian Garcia Bolaglio at the Morbido Fest in 2018, the early years of Swinging London with Peter Medak, The House on Chessman Park, true story behind The Changeling, the music of The Changeling, which this edition does come with the full soundtrack on CD, which is very cool. Building the House of Horror, an interview with art director Ruben Fried, the Psychotronic Tourist, Master of Horror Mick Garris on The Changeling. Now, we're going to get into the packaging of this thing too, which is very good reason to pick this up as well. You're just wanting a classy packaging, Second Sight limited edition on this, this is what you want. So it comes with like a little J card thing that comes right off, as most of theirs do. So the cover there, gorgeous, brand new artwork, commissioned for this release. And inside, oh yes, inside, to give you an idea, this is Digipack, which I know some people aren't into the Digipacks, but I myself am. And you'll get the Blu-ray and the 4K have all the same contents. So if you needed both versions, this is the one you'll want to pick up. And of course, the CD soundtrack as well. Also included, which is always in these limited Second Sight editions, is reproduction lobby cards. We'll take a look at those here. These are definitely suitable for framing. They look exactly like an old school set of lobby cards, which was used back in movie theaters years and years ago. And there's like a 108-page booklet, which Second Sight is the best. They're the ones that do this the best. And these are always fun to look at and take a look. Film essays, photos from the movie, all that good stuff. Thick booklet there too. So guys, that is it for the review. The Second Sight Films limited edition, The Changeling, just recently came out. It is now available. This is over in the UK, but the 4K and of course the CD you can play anywhere around the world. So if you're interested in it, check it out, and be sure to check us out. We're over at DEADPIT.com. Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do or
I
don't.
want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Medak.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some DEADPIT Radio shirts. You can get Last South on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. DEADPIT on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old DEADPIT radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. DEADPIT on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.